Hello and welcome into another edition of Sitting Down with Sgar. I am the football voice of the Hoyas, Jeremy Huber, joined by Georgetown head coach Rob Scarlatta. Rob, congratulations on the big win over Fordham, a ranked team. Again, congratulations on a huge victory.
Thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate it.
Talking about this one, and I think you're such a good guy to talk about because not only have you been the head coach for a decade, you were an assistant before that, a player before that. Can you put in context how big of a win this was for Georgetown football?
It's a huge win for us. It's great to have it here in front of a home crowd and, on homecoming on Cooper Field. And for us and for me, I think it's the next step in the progression for our program. Each week when we talk about this, we play quality opponents. Really, the jerseys change and the styles change, but we play a very, very competitive schedule. So, I was really impressed more with our development as a team, what our players were able to do coming back off of a disappointing trip to New York against Columbia and really being able to reset, focus, and work on getting 1% better each day. And that showed on Saturday, with a homecoming win here on Cooper.
Coach, you had talked about how you thought the team had a really good week of practice, almost too good where you're having to pull guys back. So obviously that's where it started. But what were some keys to the win over the Rams?
Anytime that you can slow down an offense like that, you're doing a pretty good job. And for me, I think that I give a lot of credit to the coordinators. We put together a game plan with offense, defense, and the special teams that really complemented each other. We had the ball 41 minutes in the game, and we executed, the game plan pretty much to a T on offense with keeping Fordham on the bench. And really, very impressed with the defense coming up with 3 stops after sudden change. So, for me, just watching the players really band together, especially at the end of the game, when Fordham took the lead, just to see what our sideline looked like, just to see that nobody flinched, nobody panicked. We put together a drive and we're able to close out against, one of the better teams at this level.
And you mentioned all those things, the time of possession big as well. As an old defensive guy, I would love to watch that offense hold the ball, to be fresh out there on the defensive end. What did the defense do, maybe specifically you thought well, to kind of keep Fordham in check?
As much as you look at, their quarterback Montez, and, he's got a record number of quarterbacks in his first couple starts. We went into the week saying that we would need to run the football on offense and stop the run on defense to be successful. We were able to do both those things. Sometimes you get caught up with, some of the glitz and glamour of the deep ball and all the points that Fordham was putting up earlier in the season. And it comes down to be able to control a box, be physical up front, and handle the run game. And that's something I think 2 years ago up in the Bronx we didn't do. And I was really happy to see our progression and what we were able to do Saturday.
And Rob, you talk about stopping the run, also running the football, another good day on the ground. And maybe more impressive was a lot of that game, the lineup you had out there, not a lot of experience. I think at one point, Trevor Swan might have been the only guy that had starts coming into the year. What did that group do maybe to make up for the lack of experience? What did they do well in other areas?
Experience is a huge word. I give Coach Parton and Coach Klein, who are working with the offensive line, a lot of credit. We have we have a saying around here: just keep trying to do simple better. And I think the guys up front really trust each other, no matter who's in there. It's been a next man up mentality the entire year. So anytime that you can put up, over 220 yards rushing and hold somebody under 80, that's going to be a great day for you. So as we watch the film, those guys are getting better and better each week. And, we're going to need that this weekend when we go up against Penn's front.
Talking about that running game, we'll get into the Quakers in a little bit, but how huge was Naeem Kearney's 70-yard run coming into the second half? You kind of get things going. Folks say, look, now obviously Fordham's going to catch him in the second half. And for Naeem to do what he did, what did that mean for your team?
We talk about the middle 8 all the time. We talk about the last drive of the first half and the first drive of the second half as being key to the football game. Going into the locker room, I really emphasize with our players to say, hey, it's a 0-0 ball game. Come out. I know that we did a great job in the first half, but they're going to make a run. They're a quality football team. They got a lot of weapons. And to be able to come out and do that, which was, the O-line did a great job of executing gap against the man blitz. Coach Spence double called that from the sideline, got us in the right check. And, once Naeem got out, it was great to know that he was going to put that thing in the end zone. So, huge lift for us, and really was impressed with how our kids handled success. And didn't just say, "Well, this thing is over." They knew there'd be in a dogfight, but that was a huge play for us, to set us up in the second half.
Rob, you mentioned your team. Fordham comes back like the champions they are, and they take the lead on you in the fourth quarter. Your team goes down methodically, takes the ball down the field, scores the game winning touchdown with not a lot of time left. What did that drive say about both Tyler Knopp and the offense as a whole?
Yeah, TK is one of those guys. Even in the game, we were going to kick the extra point after we scored the second time. We had the bad snap on the first extra point, so we were down 1 point in that deal, and TK came to me and said, "Hey, let's go for two." And he had that confidence about him on Saturday, and I knew that was going to translate into something for us. I couldn't have predicted it was going to be a 2-minute drive right at the end, but he's got that poise to him. Nothing really phases him or bothers him, even when he makes mistakes. And then he comes up with a huge play, with the throw to Brock Beestick, following up after the boot throw to get us down there in position to Isaiah Grimes. So, his progression over the first couple games here has been great, and he gives defenses a lot of things to worry about, being able to run the football, throw it well, and he's doing a really good job of managing our offense and making sure he's putting us in a position to win.
Coach, transitioning into Penn, this is a question I think I've been on teams where there's that maybe unbalance of a lot of youthful guys on the team. How do you go ahead and make sure that the big win over Fordham doesn't mean to a letdown the next week? And does it help that you have a Penn squad who these guys know is a very, very good football team?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. You have to reset. The best thing about football is when you lose, you get a chance to come in on Sunday, look at the lessons learned, and reset for Monday. We have to do the same thing here. Following this win over Fordham, and it's really not, in my opinion, that hard of a week to get prepared because last year Penn came in here and got after us pretty good. Put up a big score on homecoming here against us, and for me, and I know for our ball club, that's something that we understand, that it's a quality opponent coming off a tough, loss to Dartmouth in a great football game that went to overtime. So, if you look at our Columbia film and you look at the Fordham film, there's probably 5 or 8 plays that are different from each game and put you in a spot from winning to losing. So, hopefully we're young enough not to bask too much in the win from last week. And it's been a really good practice week for us. So the kids have done a good job. I think they understand they need to reset week to week because our entire schedule is full with teams that if you play well, you're going to put yourself in a position to win in the fourth quarter. And if you don't play well, you'll have a result that you don't want. So, the win or learn mantra is still here. We're trying to learn from what we did at Fordham. It was not a perfect game by a long shot. We're a -3 in the turnover ratio. We made some mistakes. We can absolutely improve in the kicking game. So those are the things that we harped on throughout the week as we're preparing to go up to Philadelphia.
Rob, how important is it for you guys? We know Georgetown, it's a global school, it's a national program, but also there's a lot of heart in the Northeast when it comes to being a Hoya. How important is it to kind of get a game in the heart of Philly against a good opponent at a historic venue in Franklin Field?
Yeah, it's going to be great to go up to Franklin Field. For us, I always talk about the New York Hoya football family. We have a lot of folks down in South Jersey and Philly and Pennsylvania out that way. So really looking forward to playing in front of them. We will have a good crew there cheering our kids on. And again, anytime that you can get to, like you said, to an Ivy League school, go to Franklin Field, be able to put your football program on display, that's a big deal for us. So we're really looking forward to making the trip.
And coach, now time for our sitting down with Sgar spotlight, and it's a guy who's getting to go home this weekend. Cam Pygott, a Philly guy. Cam, congratulations first on the win on Saturday. But what does it feel like you get to go home this week and play in front of the home crowd?
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely something I've always dreamed about. I'm really excited to, be able to be around my family and have them there to support me and all that. It's definitely something that I'm excited for, and I hope we can come out with a win on Saturday.
Cam, one of the things Coach Scarlotta always talks about when I ask him preseason, in season with you, is the toughness, both mental and physical toughness. For you, where does that come from?
I think that's just something I've worked on throughout my whole life. I have a pretty calm demeanor. I try not to get too high, get too low, and I think that's something that really helps me as not only a football player, but on and off the field. So I think that's something that I've just tried to work on as I've gotten older. It's something that I definitely try to keep with me wherever I go.
Cam, some big plays for you. It feels like a lot of times they're looking for a play, sometimes just a reception to move the chains. They're going to you. But this weekend against Fordham, you guys go down. They score in the first quarter, and you have that kickoff return, which I remember in the booth we said that's the Cam Pygott play. You pick it up, you break about 3 tackles, you take it across midfield, and really, to me, it almost felt like the fact that, hey, Fordham, we're here to stay, almost like you were saying that, with your play there. Was that a situation where you're thinking, I'd love to make a play here to kind of snatch this momentum back for us?
Yeah. Before that play, they had, going up on us. We were down by 1 point, and we had a point to prove coming into the game, and I knew that a kick return or any type of play can make a big difference, and swing the momentum back, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. And it wasn't a pretty play. It kind of broke down at first, but you know, I've been I just knew that I needed to make a play, and I felt like we were able to do that on that play.
Coach, bring you in here again. We talked about it. You always talk about Cam's toughness, and he just said it there. And maybe that's part of the Philly mentality. It's not pretty, but I knew I had to get it done. What's your Cam Pygott story that tells the story the best about your receiver?
We always joke about it. I think in preseason I talked about, if you see me fighting a bear, help the bear. Cam Poggett's that kind of kid. So, some of the most impressive things that CP does, nobody sees, it doesn't show up in the stat sheet. He does a great job blocking on the edge. He's invested in that receiver room. He's done a great job helping us bring some of the younger receivers along. And, you can build programs around players like CP. To be honest with you, as you start looking at what you want your team to be, we talk about Sisu and toughness and those things. That's what you can build victories on. So, very blessed to have him with us. Really excited to see him go home to play in Philadelphia. And, he's gotten better each week. So, really looking forward to him on teams as well as with our offense this weekend.
And Cam, one last one for you, Coach, saying it there, how you're so invested in that wide receiver room. How have you kind of approached leadership as an older guy in that room? What have you tried to do to bring those younger guys along?
Yeah, I play a little bit more this year compared to the last few years, and I think in that role I've been trying to make plays on the field, but off the field I also want to make sure that the younger guys know the plays, they know what they're doing, they have the right techniques, and I always say that a lot of our guys could play right now. I feel like it's unfortunate that only 2 or 3 receivers are on the field at one time, but I can see not only the potential but the ready to play right now for a lot of the guys. I feel like um, coach always says like we're going to need you later on in the season, so I feel like just making sure everyone's prepared and they feel like they have a role on this team. I feel like that's something that I really try to do with the younger guys.
Well, Cam, you had your Georgetown homecoming this past week. You get your real homecoming this week. Congratulations and good luck in Philly this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Cam Pygott, Rob Scarlotta, coach. Again, congratulations on a big win and good luck this weekend against a tough Quaker squad.
Thanks very much.
That'll wrap it up for another edition of Sitting Down with Sgar. Remember, Georgetown back on the road this weekend against Penn. 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff. See it in person in Philly at historic Franklin Field or watch online at ESPN+. Thanks, Coach Scarlotta. Our guests, Hoya wide receiver Cam Pygott and producer Eliza Kravitz. That's all for this edition of Sitting Down with Scar. I'm Jeremy Huber. Hoya Saxa.